Good evening everyone. So we are starting with the rest of the part of first chapter, our constitution. So next is objectives resolution. When the Constituent Assembly started the work of drafting constitution, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru proposed the objective resolution on December 13, 1946. The resolution highlighted the objectives and laid down the national goals. Okay, so when the work was started that we are going to draft a constitution, when that Constituent Assembly started the work, at that time Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was also one of the leader, isn't it? So he put forward some his objective resolutions. What are his objective resolutions? That we'll see. First point is free India will nothing but republic. Now what do you mean by republic? That a country that will have the elected government, that elections will occur and we will choose our own leader. That is called as republic, isn't it? So India will be free country and it will be a republican country. Okay, next, the ideals of social, political and economic democracy would be guaranteed to all people. That means, as you all know, that first we have untouchability and all caste system was there. So some people were like some particular caste were not having any rights. All that things were there, isn't it? So there should not be such things in our republican India. Our India should be free from all these things. Therefore, social, political and economic democracy should be guaranteed to each and everyone, although from whatever caste the person belongs to, or whoever the person will be. If he is the national of India, if he is citizen of India, then he will be guaranteed all these rights. The republic would grant fundamental rights to citizens. Yes, as you all know that some fundamental rights are there. Right to speak, right to vote, all these rights are there, isn't it? So those rights are given to each and everyone, isn't it? So if you are 18, you can go and do the voting. If you want to speak anything, if you want to make a video and put it on a public platform, yes, you can do it. But in some other countries, it is not even possible, isn't it? So this is called as a republic. The state would safeguard the rights of minorities and backward classes. So here they have told that the rights for minorities and backward classes will also be given to them. There should not be any discrimination between these people. No, they should also get the same right as the one who is onto the other caste or from a majority. There should be same rights given to him. Okay, so all these 4 points are there. This we have to understand. They will ask you the question, what were the objective resolution put forward by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru? So you have to write down all these 4 points. The object resolution was passed by the Constituent Assembly on January 22, 1947. See, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru proposed this on December 13, 1947 and it was passed on January 22, 1947. Okay. Drafting Committee. The Indian Independence Act 1947, by which 2 independent states of India and Pakistan were created, recognized the existence of the Constituent Assembly of India. This legal action enabled the Constituent Assembly to function after India's independence. The Assembly became a sovereign body. To carry on its work, it appointed 8 committees. The drafting committee under the chairmanship of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, was set up on August 29, 1947 and was entrusted with the task of drafting the constitution. Okay, now what happened was after it was declared that we are going to give the independence, British declared it that we are going to give the independence. Also there were formation of 2 countries, 2 different countries, isn't it? One country was independent country was formed as India and the other country was formed as a Pakistan. Now this whatever that confusion was there, that partition will happen or not happen, all that now this has been gone. Now the next procedure is what? Now country has been formed, but to rule this country there should be proper format or there should be proper certain rules, isn't it? So now they have started working on that. So what they did, the first thing they did was they formed a Constituent Assembly, and to form that Constituent Assembly, to function it properly, what they did, they to carry on its work, it appointed 8 committees. and the drafting committee was there. Drafting means what? Drafting of that, writing of that constitution, writing of that constitution book, that this law will be there, that law will be there, this rule will be there. Okay, so drafting committee was under whom? The chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, and it was set up on August 29, 1947. So drafting was done under his leadership. That means he will be the main one. Dr. Ambedkar's contribution to Indian Constitution. Okay, what all points he did, or what all constitution main ideals were there that he made it. Now Dr. or Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, popularly known as Baba Saheb, was one of the architects of the Constitution of India. He was an eminent jurist, economist, politician and social reformer. The text of constitution prepared by Baba Saheb provided for constitutional guarantees and protection for the wide range of civil liberties for individual citizens, including freedom of religion, abolition of untouchability, social rights for women, and system of reservation of jobs in the government services for members of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Okay, why was he chosen as the main leader, or why under his leadership this drafting committee was formed? He is one of the main architect of that Constitution of India. He was at that time a prominent jurist. What do you mean by jurist? Jurist is the one who is expert in the law. As he has done his education in law, so he was knowing different countries' laws, isn't it? So he has worked on that. He has knowledge of that law. Therefore, he was the prominent person or eminent person. Next, he was economist, politician, working on economy. He was also involved in politics, social reformer. He made some changes, isn't it, in a society. That's why all these things led him to be the leader of this assembly, or that drafting committee. Main is drafting committee, not the assembly, but the drafting committee will say, because specifically he is the leader of the drafting committee. Okay, the text of the constitution prepared by Baba Saheb provided for the constitutional guarantees and protection for wide range of civil liberties for every individual. Okay, that means what he's saying, that each and every individual, although of any caste, although of any minority or majority, whoever he may be, but he or she is a Indian citizen. Therefore, a constitutional guarantee and protection of his rights will be given to him, including freedom of religion. No religion should be seen that for this religion this law is there, for that religion that different law is there. No such partiality or differentiation should be done. Okay, next is abolition of untouchability. As I told you, at that time that untouchability was there of the people of the lower caste or backward class. They were untouchables. They were called as untouchables, isn't it? So that was the main factor that we were lacking behind, isn't it? Don't you think so, that if all these internal factors were not there in our country, no one could have come here, that British have came here and Mughals have came here? Don't you think so? If these internal factors were only the thing that we were not thinking as a one country or one nation, that feeling was lacking, isn't it? So they wanted to avoid all these things, so that after becoming independent, any other country will come, and if they come likewise the British came, then this won't happen again. This should not happen again. So they had taken care of that. So all these lacking factors are there, they should be removed first. So they thought of that untouchability and all these things should not be there. Also they thought of that women in our country were not given that much priority, or they were not given that much of importance. So they thought that there should be some rights for women also, so that they should get good education, they should get good service in that way. And also what he take care of, that scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, that is SC, ST, those people will get government jobs, because that was necessary. Because as at that time, if you think those people were not having that good level of education and good level of jobs, they were lacking behind. Therefore he thought that they should also come up and should get good education, good rights, good government service. That's why he made that law. Okay, so he had thought of each and everyone in every aspects. Next, in order to shape India into complete sovereign democratic republic in which liberty and dignity of individual is ensured along with national integrity, Baba Saheb incorporated the following principles in the Constitution of India. So what he is saying, that liberty and dignity of individual is ensured, that each and every person, each and every individual should have his own dignity, and he should not be given he should not be like you can say that if he is of a different caste or class or a minority class or something like that, so he should not be differentiated. Okay, so for that reason only he had made some points, and on that points only that his main constitution was drafted. So first point, what he thought of, this were in the first paragraph they have given the basic idea. Now the main points, main principles they have given here. So I am reading that principles, 5 principles they have given. Okay, so first one is making the Indian constitution workable, flexible and strong enough to hold country together both in peace and in war. That means Indian constitution should be workable in any situation. Like see now this present situation, if we talk about now, this is not a war situation, but actually this is a pandemic situation in which we are facing lot of problems. We are inside our house, we are locked down in a quarantine, and our economy is falling down, but still to recover this or to get from this situation, our Indian constitution has a good enough strength that we will come out of this situation, right? Isn't it? Therefore, in any of the situation, we should not fall back. Whatever it may be, it should be in a peace situation or a war situation or whatever the situation may be, that Indian constitution should be workable. Okay, next, providing special safeguards to minorities and certain classes who are socially and educationally backward. So like people like Adivasis, or people like at that time those were untouchables, you can say. Those people were not getting education, they were not getting any that particular facilities. So to make them or to get them that particular rights, so some special laws were also, some special safeguards were also taken care by him. He had thought about them also, that they should get the good education, they should get that particular rights. A person who is living in a city, or a person who is living in a village area, or a person who is from a minority, or a person who is from a majority, doesn't matter, but everyone should get that right. And therefore, to safeguard those minority people and certain classes people, he had made some provision. Incorporating the rights to the constitutional remedies to ensure that fundamental rights of the individuals are not infringed by center or state governments. That is, see, incorporating the right to constitutional remedies to ensure that fundamental rights of the individuals are not infringed. Means what? That fundamental rights given to each and every citizen of the India should cannot be harmed by any of the government. Maybe it is a state government, maybe it is a central government, maybe it is a local government, that should not be harmed by any of the government. So whatever the constitution has been written or drafted in such a way that no one can harm the fundamental right of a citizen. No one can harm the fundamental right of the citizen. Okay, single citizenship, single judiciary, and uniformity in the fundamental laws to integrate Indian societies. Now what does this mean, that single citizenship? Although we have different states, isn't it? 29 states are there. So but as a India, we all say that we all are Indian. That is single citizenship. We are not saying we don't write it down citizenship as a Maharashtrian, isn't it? So citizenship will be Indian. So that is single citizenship. Single judiciary, that means does not have separate laws for different states. Is there any separate law for Maharashtra state and different law which is working in the Karnataka state or Goa state? No, all the laws will be same, isn't it? So that is single judiciary system. And uniformity in the fundamental laws to integrate the Indian society. That feeling of Indianness should be there, and that fundamental laws should be given to each and everyone, whether he is from any whatever state he may be but that will be same to everyone. Therefore, he proposed a strong center to maintain the territorial integrity and administrative disciplines. That means, see, I can say you that there are different states, different state governments are there. Each state will be having a state government, and local governments are there. So there should be territorial integrity also, and administrative discipline will be there. That this is to the higher, like district will like district government, or that local government is there. In that local government is smaller to the district government will be smaller to that state government, and state government is smaller to the Indian government, isn't it? That means that discipline is there, administrative discipline is there, that who should follow whom, that he has taken care of. Incorporating directive principles to ensure social and economic democracy and welfare of the people of India. That is, some directive principles also he have given, and in that social and economic democracy, that is socially, see, like some people are there which are who are having their own they are having their own car and property, and they are having their own whatever it may be. So that social and economic democracy is there. No, everyone is same. No, likewise in some different countries like Russia or like that, those people are not having their own property, isn't it? Or everything belongs to the government. So like this is not there. So whatever that social democracy is there, we are having that social democracy, that our property will be our property, isn't it? Economic democracy is there, and welfare of the people of India. If some people are very poor, then government provides some schemes to it. So all these things are so each and every one's aspect Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has seen and drafted a constitution. Now all these points were the principles that how that constitution should be there, how what all points will be there in the constitution. Okay, so now readings, they have done it, they have made it. Now the draft was discussed by the Constituent Assembly clause by clause since November 4, 1948. Thereafter draft underwent second reading, which was completed on October 17, 1949. It was followed by third and final reading, which were completed on November 26, 1949. That means, do you really think that all these points were there and it was easy to draft the constitution, that in once only they have made it and okay, this is done now? No, this is not the case. So after making also they underwent some process, that 3 readings they have taken. That means after some time that all reading was done, that this is, some people will say that this should be there, some people will say that this should not be there. So some changes were made again in second time some changes made, again third time some changes made, and but third was the final reading. That means they have completed the work, they have completed the drafting work, that this constitution is okay now. In that way, time taken, it took nearly 3 years for Constituent Assembly to finally pass the constitution. At time of its signing, the constitution consisted of 395 articles and 8 schedules. Now see, what are they saying, that it nearly took 3 years. That means for the final constitution was made, that now this is okay and now we are going to use it as our Constitution of India. It took 3 years, they were working for 3 years. And how many total articles are there? That 395 articles are there and 8 schedules are there. So you have to understand this and by heart this also. They will ask you that how many articles are there, how many schedules are there, so you have to write it down. Okay. Implementation of the constitution. After the signing of the constitution, only the clauses relating to citizenship and some other came into force immediately. This was to enable person displaced as a result of the partition to register themselves as Indian citizen. Now what they said, that they have taken care of many things, but after the constitution was implemented, so what came into existence, that main came into existence was the Indian citizenship. The citizenship part was given importance. Okay, that came into existence, or that came into force immediately, because see, two states were formed, 2 countries were formed, India and Pakistan. So now this human being or this individual belongs to our country, that citizenship should be given first. So they have given the priority to the citizenship. Okay. The constitution was adopted and passed by the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949. Constitution as whole came into force with the effect from January 26, 1950. Okay, now this Constituent Assembly was there, that all these people, they have signed it on when November 26, 1949. They said that this is okay now. They have completed the draft of the constitution. This book is okay now. They have done it on November 26th, but actual when it came into effect or when it actually started from January 26, 1950, and that is why we are celebrating Republic Day on that day. Understood? With the coming into force the constitution, R. Raja Gopalachari became the Governor General. He replaced Lord Mountbatten. The Constituent Assembly became the provisional parliament until the new general elections held in 1951-52. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was the president of the Constituent Assembly, took over as the president of the Indian Union. See, Lord Mountbatten was there at that time, but he should go now because British people have left their all their whatever their rights were there in our country. They have left it, and now we are a free country. That's why now who came? C. Raja Gopalachari. He became now a Governor General. He became our main Governor General at that time because someone should be there, no? That's why he was made Governor General. And later on in 1951-52, they have again made the elections, and in that Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the president of the Constituent Assembly, became the president of Indian Union. He was the president of Constituent Assembly. Also, he became the president of the Indian Union. Okay. Now, significance of January 26. Now, what is the main factor or main thing of the January 26? See now, the date January 26, 1950 for commencement of the Constitution was specially selected because of its historical importance. It was this date, January 26 in 1929, that Lahore session of Indian National Congress had for the first time given the call of Purna Swaraj or complete independence. Since then, the day was celebrated as the Independence Day up to 1947. See, why they have chosen that January 96, that constitution came into effect. Now, why they have chosen that particular day only? Because they are saying that on January 26 in 1929, at that time, INC was there. It called its Purna Swaraj. They wanted the complete independence, and that was before celebrated as the Independence Day in our country. Up till when? Up till 1947. But on 15th August 1947, we became independent, isn't it? So from that, 15th August is celebrated as the Independence Day, and January 26 is also now celebrated as Republic Day. Because on 26th January only our this constitution was there that came into effect. Understood? They may ask you that. They in the give reason or question answers, they will ask you this question. So remember this point also.